Hello. These will be slightly busy slides, but each slide will be tweeted in turn, and there'll be a video of the complete 6 minutes and 40 seconds at the end. Are we ready? The question is, how do you use PPC in harmony with SEO? Well, you may as well ask, how do you use anything in harmony with SEO? Because the answer is the same. You have to determine the unique energy signature of your customer base and work out how to best deploy your communication assets in a way that triggers positive energy that's visible to search engines. Zoom way, way out. This is the information universe, containing the sum total of all published information that survives in a retrievable state. Various publishing disciplines overlap and differ to some extent, but each has an influential mainstream core, less influential fringes, and a point at which content is regarded as irrelevant before disappearing, like the poetry you wrote in high school. No offense. Zoom in for detail. You browse different neighborhoods of the information universe every day, and every day it influences your decision-making process about what to believe, who to vote for, and what to buy. A good portion of this influence is being described as the zero moment of truth. We'll focus on this concept shortly. Zoom into the web. The web cluster of galaxies is different from other regions in that the threshold for influence is typically lower, widely shared, and therefore more democratic and easier to shape. Example, it's easier to be published on the web than it is to have a letter published by a newspaper. Zoom into Google Galaxy. In the Google Galaxy, advertising competes, alongside information. Information gets the majority of the traffic, but competing here is typically a slow process requiring accumulation of relevance over time. PPC is more immediate, but captures a minority of traffic and has no capacity to accumulate relevance. Zoom in. Publishers seeking to accumulate relevance usually have one or more of the following 4 goals: attention, personal advancement, influence, or profit. Often, overlapping and even conflicting motives lead to the creation of close orbiting clusters of accumulated relevance that share a gravitational field of influence. Zoom in. These bodies both rely on and compete for energy in the form of conscious attention. This energy can, 1, arrange existing information matter into new and novel content, the first essential step in the accumulation of relevance. 2, reflect off other bodies onto new and novel content, hyperlinks. Or 3, express a direct preference for content in search results. Zoom out. Each topical neighborhood will be illuminated and shaped by an energy source that has a unique signature. For example, query and content patterns relating to trains will be very different to those relating to London, even if both queries are by the same person, and even if both subjects overlap sometimes at the point of someone wanting a train to London. Zoom in. All of these energy sources have a single shared source, which is finite and often reliably measurable. It is the planet Earth, populated by 7 billion hunter-gatherers. Roughly 1 to 2 billion have adapted wholly as consumers in modern and developed societies, but they remain social, tribal, and highly emotional. Zoom in. Observed in any large group, humans gather under tribal models that range from alienated and dysfunctional to more inclusive models that become increasingly reliant on true altruism as they evolve. Crucially, participants must grow through these individual steps, and they rarely leap across them. Zoom in and enhance. This is because these tribes speak entirely different languages due to their differing mindsets. Humans can only grasp and aspire to one tribal level above theirs. One glance at the numbers here shows you why sport is so popular. Teamwork is something the largest group aspires to, but they still talk about sport as if their side could do better if they were in charge of the team. Zoom in to smaller groups. In small and large groups, humans typically separate into the 1% of people who do the stuff, the 9% who argue about how that stuff should be done, and the 90% who go along with the result. Subsequently, you should not expect 100% engagement or anything close to it. But the minority, influencers, can help you reach more of the majority, the influenced, if you can trigger engagement that's visible to search engines. In individuals, there are levels to emotional engagement that range from being unaware to being passionate. But when we look at the profile of this diagram and apply the 1-9-90 principle, an engagement bottleneck becomes apparent. Plenty of people will hand over money, but few will engage in a way that speaks to search engines. Zoom into the zero moment of truth. Here we turn to a familiar diagram and expand our view to acknowledge that the second moment of truth is going to involve more than one moment. A relationship with any product involves a series of highs and lows. But what we must also acknowledge is that different product types and different customer types will result in vastly different patterns of highs and lows. Enhance. A newspaper buyer will have a series of emotional highs occurring on a daily basis. Owners of flat-screen TVs may experience an initial high, but this will inevitably decline as their purchase blends in with other toys and furniture. The owner of a fire extinguisher will probably never evangelize about the product until after they've had cause to use it. Zoom in on one energy signature. Your mission is to shape your response to this organic energy signature so you can better capitalize on emotional highs when and where they occur. Some peaks are unmoving and so predictable that you can address them with SEO. Some may be more in flux. For this, you should use PPC, as it's better able to respond quickly to sudden changes and fleeting opportunities. Zoom out. You need to think not only about your primary web presence as a slow-moving craft, but associated presences and influencers as a supporting fleet. For example, in the initial stage of keyword research, PPC can act as a reconnaissance craft that can return detailed data about patterns of demand and response and even ROI in any given neighbourhood. Zoom in. Some forms of attention may be influenced by advertising in a way that can contribute to your accumulated relevance. In this illustration, PPC is working as a fast-moving vanguard that helps you overwhelm and displace competitor content by temporarily exploiting a commanding position and converting a specific interest into detectable emotional energy that builds on your relevance. Zoom out. Other commercial forces can be used to influence specific information neighbourhoods. Recently, Anchorman 2 was announced on the same day that the original Anchorman was airing on TV. The obvious intention was to bring the original to mind and trigger an emotional high to coincide with the release of shareable sequel announcement materials. Zoom in. Your goal, therefore, is to shape your entire information distribution fleet so it better responds to the unique signature of your desired audience and the unique capacity of the web to turn that into a tangible reward in the form of reach, influence, and even domination of a particular search market. Stick a fork in it. We're done. Thank you for your time. Cool.